Welcome everyone. This video is a piece in my Power of Thought series, sharing experience and wisdom of catching a train of thought that occurs, the benefit of catching a train of thought, and the possible outcome of riding that train to the next stop or the station. So I'm titling this Train of Thought number 2, Working with Your Intuition and Higher Self in Meditation. So if you are someone looking for an answer and want to see how something like this plays out in a meditative flow, then you're in the right place. If you're someone who wants to discover a possibility of meditative intuition flow and what it could look like, then you're in the right place. So we all have trains of thought. You're thinking or compiling an idea or in the middle of a discussion, and all of a sudden a trigger word or an interruption literally interrupts your train of thought. Thus, the cars and the intelligence disappear for a moment, or until it circles back around again at a later day or a later time. This is the space that we are in for this piece. So understanding what thought is and what thought does is a pretty important component in many ways. A few reasons for someone to want to understand the power of thought and thoughts are that less cluttered mind reduces anxiety, relieving stress and strife from excessive thoughts and fretting the uncertainties. Then there is the manifestation component, where thoughts are recognized as vibrations, and they're put into different dimensions to create the end result of the projection of these vibrations, or what one could call an intention, right? What an intention is, to create intentions. I do meditation each morning, and I imagine we all do some form of meditation in the morning, be it with your coffee, tea, or on your drive to work, or focused meditation, of which I speak, where, we sit and meditate. What makes this form of meditation that I'm writing about today different from regular meditation is the addition of penning, or writing down and capturing these trains of thoughts. Have you ever sat down and written down all the thoughts and conversations that you have with yourself, like in a period, like in a minute or in 5 minutes, right? Where you just write. And sure you have, I want to say, right? When you make a to-do list, project managers do this all the time. Even moms and dads that manage the projects of the home and the family get in a focused meditative flow, right, to organize the thoughts. So it is a uniquely extraordinary task to incept, or like to implement, doing meditative focused meditative writing, right? So just be in that meditative flow. So it's not so much like writing down all your complaints and giving up everything to God or spirit. However, that can be where one would start. Writing down gratitudes and goals and dreams and manifests, etc., will begin the mind dump of all this swirl to make room for this intuitive type of meditation that I'm sharing with everyone today. So we all have that. I get that. I have that. It's still there. It's just how we organize it and manage it, right, with the mind maps. So it's been my experience that some folks are nervous or afraid to let it go, to clear their mind for meditation, right? To let it go. So they get rid of the swirl of anxiety. They worry about forgetting something, and that continue until a certain thought is dealt with, or busyness, right? That stuff just keeps occurring until a certain, like, you grab it and you deal with it. Okay, what's going on? And sometimes we don't have a choice. Circumstances will put us in a place where we have to deal with something. So until it's dealt with, organized, compiled, and then we can archive it. And putting it on paper is a way to let it go. and to make a space in your mind to let the fresh flow come in, or more succinctly, more mind space to process the flow that's already intuitively arriving by the moment. The security of having it on paper can make a big difference. I highly encourage everyone to find peace with this. Letting go will not give you Alzheimer's or dementia. So what if we weren't meant to carry all that swirl in our head? What if some of that swirl is not even ours to carry, yet we carry it? The other benefit of having the thoughts of your mind on paper is that you can get to know yourself in a new way. And that's an amazing statement. Get to know yourself in a new way. I saw this when I began journaling my thoughts to clear my mind, starting a few years ago. And then moved to the meditative journaling of the thoughts. And what I refer to here as meditative writing, to me, that looks like a notebook on my lap, a pen, and a lot of practice, not writing over the words that are already written. Yeah, try to pull that out part. And the ability to focus in meditation and where I'm writing on the paper, right? And even is the pen open? Been through that too. So there are benefits to not journaling in meditation, because I'm not splitting my attention, right? My focus and energy are on two tasks when I'm doing the meditative writing. However, meditation is only just that, is meditation. So meditation by itself is so beautiful when we see how much we can play with it. But that's another segment. I regress. So I noticed in my writing that I appeared more brilliant and bright and wise in my writings than I thought I was. This was very empowering to me. I began writing prose and poetry and stories. It was just amazing. As I've grown in my meditative writing abilities, I see that there are question and answer conversations that occur. After meditation, I read these conversational back and forth, question, answers in my writing. Often I look up and research the answers. Some things aren't, like, where did that word, I'll get it in meditation. A word will come, and I will look up the word when I'm done. I just keep writing the word and go through the scripting of it, and then we'll look it up later. And it's so neat how it applies to the sentence, even though it's unclear what it is. They're like, just take it. So I look up and research answers, then validate what occurred in those thoughts, which is, we think what we think, and we know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. So who's thinking what we don't know? And then how do we know it? So, see, in meditation, mostly all of it makes sense. Then there's the learning period of capturing it in a way so that it makes sense in reality. Then we learn to read and feel these vibrations and these stories. These stories tend to come out more vividly. Stopping second guessing stuff really helped me with that. However, sometimes second guessing turns into another beautiful inquiry, like another train of thought. So also, through our mind thoughts and the conversations, I learned early in this process that we humans are given a gift of asking a question with a clear, focused mind. These succinct and sometimes more conversational answers start occurring. Sort of like ask and you shall receive statement from Jesus, the one he gave on a Sermon on the Mount in Matthew was chapter 7-8. And he also said, whoever knocks will find an open door, right? You don't knock and you don't ask. What comes from that? So when I am speaking, and what I am speaking and writing of today is what comes after one has released much of that already. So letting go of all of the swirl, right, that's there, and all the questions and the hate and the judgment, and letting it go, right? So my mind is has more space to receive. So, and I've done a lot of question and answering, which clears that mind. And then it's kind of neat because the words just get, or there's less words in your mind that way once you get to wherever I am right now. So to me, oh wait, right, not before that. So I have been able to release much of that already through journaling, which, like I said, giving it up, and journaling the meditative question and answers that I've been going through. So besides the train and its cars being added with new thoughts, it's also like climbing a ladder, or walking stairs. There's like depths of understanding in areas that I feel guided to explore. And the way I see that is, it occurs that sometimes I'm going up on a thought, and then all of a sudden I'm going down, like to go back to where it came from, right? So it's a belief busting, right? So finding out what's a belief and not bringing a new one back in, but so you get like the past, present, and the future, which is kind of neat. It always starts in the present, though. Yeah. Yeah. So to me, each inquiry seems like a mind map. Yeah, linking the meditative conversation with the depths of enlightenment and deeper understanding in areas I feel guided to explore. Sometimes the topic goes around different branches on the mind map, right? To explain something more. And this is through my inquiry, which you'll see in my writing after this, how that plays out, where it's kind of like you go to these different branches. Sometimes they circle back around, and sometimes they don't make it back. It's just a whole nother thought train, which when it's written down, you can go back and meditate on it further because you caught that train, right? If it's interest, if it's, talking about somebody's, what shoes they wore, how the heck did they wear those shoes? They had ankle surgery, blah, blah, blah. Then you let those thoughts go. Those are the ones that just are gone. Why have that? That's judging. So you let go of those, and then the other stuff comes in, and once you focus, where the focus goes, the energy flows, and it's sort of like blocks the other thoughts from coming in, as long as you can stay focused on that train, right? Watching that train. So it goes off around these different branches of the map. And then I've seen in a lot of my pieces, it circles back to one giant conclusion, which then creates one final revelation, a discovery, an introspection that I use to go out into my world and test it and retrospect with it in life and my existence newly, right? It's a whole new concept in my paradigm of what it is to be human. So some of my writings of these focused meditations and interactions are of how my human being, this Tammy, right, how she's interacting in situations and how others are interacting in my being, right? What is my relation to what all these things, right? What can I give or take away from people, and following my synchronicities? And sometimes the writing's about work and possibilities that are created to see how they could play out, etc. And some are calm and peaceful with new discoveries from which I know not where they come. So the questions I have asked, and that you're welcome to ask too, to promote this blessed introspect, if you're ready to receive, right, is where do thoughts that answer those questions come from? Because I've validated, and like I said, there's words that I don't understand, or I didn't have the meaning immediately available to me. However, when I looked it up, the answers it was perfectly exactly what it was. So trusting in what's coming in the flow, not getting knocked off, spending time on like, what does that mean? Because it'll occur if it should occur. So you just take whatever's occurring. So where do the thoughts that answer the questions come from? Answer my questions come from? Where does wonder come from? Like, what makes us like, gee, I wonder. And then you go further. So like I said, it's like the stairs or ladder. You're just like, okay, one more step. Okay, what's here? Where do thoughts to ask more questions even come from? And while I am it, I asked, who am I? Ask yourself that sometime and sit with that. And then clear out all the stuff that the ego tells you you are. Sort through those layers and find out who you really are, which is amazing and contributory and worthy and valuable and enlightened. So here I begin the beginning of my meditative writing for today. This is for this morning. So I'll work to stay in the flow of the piece to create how the back and forth goes. And then in some spaces, I'll share how the concept of the statement occurred to me. Interpretation, it could also be, right? How I'm interpreting it. And by the way, there have been times, many, many times, where my interpretation was redirected to a broader perspective than I had of it at that time. So that's called being too linear or too literal, right? Which I've had teachers go through this, some things with me and bring out that you can't be too literal because we only know what we know. And obviously there's a lot we don't. And when it shows up, where's the space? So creating a belief of how something is from understanding it, just like watching a video or reading a book or watching a movie, and taking a belief from that based on someone else's picture of what the world looks like, or what I'm saying, right? So always guard your belief system. You'll feel your intuition will tell you. Will tell you like that's BS, right? You can figure things out like that. So I'm not saying this is BS. However, I am saying that this is conversation I have with myself. Moreover, that's pretty much what the reality value of it is. And I'm welcoming you into this place just to have a look to see what is intuitive question and answer look like. And where does it go from here? It's unclear, but it's clear for me to share this message of the possibility of this. So why am I even sharing this? Is to enlighten, to empower, and co-create happiness and joy in my reality. And based on this writing, which you'll see as we go through it, your reality as well. So thank you much for hanging out with me on this journey. And let's see what we have. And I'm going to say much love. I'm going to work on my... All right. So this started this morning around 6:30 in the morning. Okay. My chakras. Oh, here we go. I have a script for this. All right. Thank you. All right. 6:30 a.m. 6/11/22. Tammy Bonnin. The magical synchronicity of the train of thought is like a giant mind map above our head, up in the sky. Inhale deep and exhale wide. See how big it is on the inside. I sit quietly, eyes closed, chakras aligned, peace inside me resides. My intention? To catch the next train of thought, and let's see where it goes. Nothing is wrong, a thought through my head flows. Mind is uneasily clear, like looking for something and nothing is here. A minute, small moment of panic, asking where did all those thoughts go? Judge not each other, you shall not do. That thought had been erased. It's not meant to be in this mind space. Love and joy, Tears well up inside my heart center and tingle behind the jowls, through the middle of the brain and out the top of my head. I feel the emotional vibrations of love inside. Love arrives. From where do these vibrations come from? I ask what's so. The answer arrives in my flow. Then I feel currents of smooth, even flowing downward energy move behind and below my ears, down to my tailbone, Manipura chakra, down by my rear. This flow of energy is constant and smoothly consistent. I ask, what is this occurrence? Vibratory receptors are open. Ask the questions this you must do. Seek, and the answer shall be given unto you. Unconditional love pangs with emotional heart vibrations to let me know, assure me, nothing is wrong to feel these sensations. Those thoughts are not mine. It occurs, so I just let them go. Thank you. Show me how to remove it, the thought, from my programming. Is that such a thing? Thoughts are things, sometimes projected from other beings. Discernment is the primary key. The wiser host you will be. Yes, many thoughts happen sympathetically for sympathetic nervous system and epigenetically. So, and for that meditation. So in post-meditation, the digestion of that last segment, right? I didn't read the writing. I was just taking in what I just took in from this meditation. Was I had thoughts in my mind that just went away. And then all of a sudden my mind was just clear, right? There was that little bit of panic because you're like, oh, wait, how come I can't think of anything? But I don't want to think of anything, right? So then when I started, I caught myself that it's clear for a reason. Then I was calmer. Then I was calmed, right? So judge not each other. I know, like I explained earlier, I had a thought about something that wasn't even relevant to anything. It was just a silly thought that came in. So the thought had been erased. It was not meant to be in this mind space. And then the gratitude came for the realization that I had a free, clear mind to receive this love that comes down from this place. And it's right here in this, So to learn about vibrations and what they are, emotional vibrations, where do they come from? The answer arrives in my flow. And then the energy, we just did chakra vibrations, and I did like some ujjayi breathing and other exercises we were doing before the meditative flow started. And so I was aligned and my nadis were a little bit clearer, and this energy was flowing in and out of me, separate but together. So yeah, and emotional love pangs. So it's almost like I was like feeling for it, like where are you, right? And with these vibratory receptors that are open. So I don't know if those are behind our ears, what's there. I don't know, it's unclear exactly. More inquiry is required for that. So that was about all right, so I did that, and I made a cup of coffee, I think, right? So about 15 minutes after the last meditation ended, I went back into my hatha yoga class. It's an hour-and-a-half class, and I kind of was skipping out, right, with the writing. However, I made coffee, and then I got back into the yoga class, and then I did some more exercises, which in my world, those clear the nadis, which is another system that's within our body. So while I was doing yoga poses, some further introspection occurred. So I sat back down right here, and I crossed my legs. I closed my eyes, and I went back into meditation to see what was there. And almost like that old AOL slogan, right? You've got mail. So it's like, have a seat. We got something to share with you. So I'm sitting with my pen and my pad in my lap, a clean page, ready to grab the flow of this continued, what I thought would be continued meditative flow, looking to capture a new or continued train of thought, right? So here comes master your emotional stability to feel higher, deeper love. So I see that occurring from me asking, paying for this love. So master your emotional stability to feel higher, deeper love. And then, so I'm talking about this feeling you get in your chest that's just so beautiful that it's an emotional surge, but it is so beautiful. So a yogi I know, they call him Stoma Parker, and he came to mind when I wrote that sentence: master your emotional stability to feel higher, deeper love. And he is one of the few people that I've encountered who has shared that deeper energetic heart space experience to me at a higher level, right? Where it's like a hug without even hugging. It's like the neatest thing. Yeah, and that's a real thing. I experienced that when I was at my yoga retreat this year. So in this beautiful swollen heart center, this is written now. In my beautiful swollen heart center, intoxicating, exhilarating tears of bliss and joy is where this energy flows. I see, experience clearly and vividly where and how non-relationship love shows. So Stoma Parker, I met just for that week, right? And so the relationship was that he's this big fancy yogi, and I didn't really know who he was. My yogi knows who he is, and they're affiliated, stuff like that. However, yeah, and it's like a hug, just like a big, beautiful hug, except you're not touching anybody. It's an energy hug. So there was some time, there's a little gap, and then nucleus and atoms are like little solar systems. Create a pyramid of light and power. Breathe in light. Breathe out unconditional love in pyramids for groups or projects. So a meditative journey plays in my ears. Part of me stays to manage the task. Oh yeah. So a meditative journey, I had a headset earpiece in for my Apple iPods, right? And there was they were talking about the nucleus and atoms. Breathe in the light, breathe out unconditional love. So this came after I wrote that piece about unconditional love. This just shows up. I put this on to get back into meditative flow. Breathe in, breathe out unconditional love in pyramids for groups or projects. And that threw me off the train rail a little bit. Okay, I guess we could call that a thing, right? Or diverted my train off of the track for a minute. And what I took from this, obviously I didn't write it all down, but what I took from this meditative lecture was that part of me stays within the pyramid, whether it's a group pyramid for a task or a project, or with people, groups of people, that part of me, like part of me stays in that pyramid, right? So I was like, what? A piece of me? And then it occurred to me in this, the visualization of it was that we replicate ourselves. So is that what I just mentally, vibrationally read is what I wrote down? I wrote down, we replicate ourselves. Is that what I just mentally, vibrationally read? So I could see Tammy in these pyramids. And on another note, before I go to the next step, I have a medical class I'm in, and it's for healing, scientific healing with this biowell and measured yoga therapy. And I am not kidding you. My teacher, we were talking about pyramids today, and The nucleus and atoms, he was talking about that, except not the nucleus and atoms. Electrons he was talking about, but he's still talking about that. And the pyramids of light and power. Oh, what an amazing thing. So this was before my class even started at 9. Okay, so I'm in this off the rail now. My train got derailed. So I'm really focused. I'm in this place, like, what the heck is going on? That part of me stays back. And granted, the pyramid of light, just think of, I mean, not just, consider that, like, really, you create a project with somebody in a group or a team or whatever, and part of you is with there. What does Tammy want? What did Tammy say? Right? Project manager that I am, that's how this works. What did we say? I set policies and procedures. However, this went deeper than that. So a piece of me. So we give away and replicate. So is that what I just mentally, vibrationally read? All right. So then I carried on. I don't know how long, where the introspect went in there. So I have a break on my paper. Okay. So I wrote down, did I just give you a holographic copy of me? Like you right here, right now. Okay. So I'm using this with you. And I was using it with my conversation I was having with myself. And, did I just give you a holographic copy of me? Your vision of my thoughts, perspective, experience, and judgment has created a copy of me in your or this time-space reality. So your vision right here, right now, of my thoughts, my perspective, my experience, and my judgment has just created a copy of me in your time-space reality, or this time-space reality of what we're calling right now, of you watching this, being engaged in this. So think of that. I go away, this video disappears. You still have me, a piece of me with you. How really is that where you see that? So a physical human version you may not always, while it is a copy, a part of your story, you still get to determine how you see or perceive your copy of me. So while it is a copy, a part of your story, you still get to determine how you see or perceive your copy of me. I give it as a gift for you, my friend, with love from me. May this copy of me always brighten, enlighten, empower, and enhance your present reality. I said, what? How beautiful was that? How big was that? So you can't see the human, even though I'm left in your mind. You have a memory of who I am, right? And our interaction, you have an experiential memory. So that's epigenetic programming of who I am. Your genes start expression is different based on you knowing who I am. And what this message is, how my vibrations that come out in my words affect your body and you, and while that this is. And that a physical human version you may not always see. While it is a copy, a part of your story, you still get to determine how you see and perceive your copy of me. So technically you walk away with the experience of being with me right here, right now. All your thoughts create me. All my thoughts about you create you. My intention of this whole video itself creates how it lands on your page. But yeah, may this copy of me always brighten, enlighten, empower, and enhance your present reality. I know there's more on this. I'll share later. I don't want to go into it ahead of time. So what occurred next was this next writing, and it's pretty intense and pretty deep. And all right, so I'm going to start. So what if some memories of things, people, places, and things popping up in the head in thoughts are to remove us from a current delusion within our own illusion? So what if some memories of things, because what did I remember? There was something that popped in my mind. And I see that there was two thoughts running at the same time. And who doesn't say they have two thoughts, right? Everyone has, you can only have one thought at a time. However, one can bump the other one away. So like this random memory, working to recall, but I don't need it, right? So it's not there. So they pop up in your head just to be like squirrel, right? So my thought train, I always work to have my thoughts be positive and empowering for myself and for others, right? To be love and light and kindness and, powerful and all those. Then if that shows up where I'm not able to carry that thought, a random thought, because I'm like, why am I thinking of this? Why am I thinking of this person? Where's this thought come from? I ask this a lot, why is this here? And that's what happens, is it shows me that there's a delusion, or the remove from the delusion of on or within our own illusion. So what we visually see is our world, right? Three people seeing a car accident on the corner, that's their illusion of their reality delusion. So seeing this, I see, okay, my mind was going in the wrong place. So I wrote this down because I'm like, why did this come? Why am I thinking this? I'm like, why? Then something randomly totally came out. So a split second of the story plays, and it was merely something to get us out of our way, it says. Thinking lightly, with light -ly. So in the spirit of love, that kind of light, of everyone around you creates what these divergent bubbles to our illusions have the ability to do. So with that, what occurred was I have pieces of me all over, right? I'm project manager, entrepreneur, just all over. Videographer here, creator, writer, over 50 years old, a lot of years. And what that occurred, that coming this paragraph I just read, occurred to me that somebody was thinking of me or one of our projects, something like that, in that triangle of light. And that thought occurred from that triangle of light. So I wrote down, a split second of the story plays, merely something to get us out of our way. Thinking lightly in the spirit of love of everyone around you creates what those diversion bubbles to our illusions have the ability to do, which goes into the teachings of what we think we are, what we think we create. That's vibrations. And so, as peculiar as the thought bubble that popped in my head, right? I came another one about thinking light in the spirit of love about whoever showed up in this thought bubble. Diversion bubbles to our illusions. So me creating them, creating me as love, right? And the spirit of love caused that to go away, because we can create how other people present to us at times, right? So here's what it says then. It says, be the best version for you. Be the best version of you, for a copy of you is left behind for others to be, feel, and utilize with their mind space, to hate, ruminate, or love upon you. So be the best version of you, for a copy of you is left behind. For others to be, I say be with, feel, and utilize with their mind space, to hate, ruminate, or love upon you. I want to say I love you, everyone, just so you're aware. There is no room for anything but that. And it only makes sense to live that way and create other people as that. So I wrote, like a voodoo doll, that memory holographic thought or emotion holds the spells, the incantations, and the programming of other people have that power to put on you. So anywhere you go and meet anyone, right, you're making an impression on every single person you meet, right? However, your vibration, if it's high enough, is able to manage the bouncing off those lower vibrations. They just go back, they bounce off or, go around you. So keeping the love, the higher vibration, and higher emotions, positive emotions, managed emotions, right? No emotion, right? Manages and holds it. So choose the spells you want cast your way. Alignment with your purpose. You have the power to sway. I wrote down, talk about multiplicity. Wow. So choose the spells you want cast your way. Goes back, I believe, with the be the best version of you. For a copy of you is left behind. Alignment with your purpose. You have the power to sway. Choose where we magnetize to. Okay. So multiplicity. There's how many of me are out there? How many of you have how many copies of you? Which is our world. That's just how it is on Earth. Every single human has this. But to see it in this interdimensional way, right? To really get it. I get it from my study with Landmark and being a human being and learning how environment decides around us, and we create our environment, and we're big people up to big things. So yeah, talk about multiplicity. Wow. All right, carry on. How endless the possibilities are. Do you see? Do you see the me inside of thee? Even more, how do our thoughts and that of others create our reality? Experiential learners through all the experiences we perceive. How is my imprint, copy of me, inside of you, affecting and impacting the being of me? And that goes to restoring integrity, being the best you can, find those places where there's a negative impact, positive impact just rolls in your favor. But how is my imprint or copy of me inside of you affecting or impacting the being of me? So how did I leave you with your thought of me? Create me. The realization of the depth of this caused the energy to surge, and my stomach became queasy. All right, so this is me noting, like, what the heck? I just realized something. And then two, is someone manifesting on me? Like, who do I need to reach out to? So that's probably another question in meditation. So the realization of the depth of this caused the energy to surge and my stomach to become queasy. I mean, I was like, literally, my body was bursting at the seams. This giant revelation created this whole giant space within me. So I'm like sitting here walking around. I went and climbed back in bed for a minute with my notepad, and I'm just like, you know how you feel like when you want to go for a run? That's how much energy I had. I was just like, what the heck? Process the energy. And breathing, it wasn't my first choice to just sit down and meditative breath, So my intuitive feed, I wasn't like closed eye meditating, right? So my intuitive feed said take a shower and get some relief from this next level experiential belief. So it's a belief in there somewhere. I must panic, right? So that's what caused that, maybe. I don't know. Get re-empowered and move around some new energy. So to end this, seeing these things, these imprints, the duplicity of me for the first time, which some tells me it's not the first time. It's the first time I acted on sharing it. And when we share it and teach it, we retain it. So the next time it comes around, we can engage it and not have that fear with it, because the fear pulls us out of that game. To resolve it, I see that. Clarity, new perspectives, different angles in a different light, created a giant, wide open, wondrous space of inquiry inside my mind's eye. A newly cleaned lens to watch the world go by. What a discovery. What a wonderful Saturday morning surprise. Yeah, don't be too literal. However, don't be afraid. It's how it occurs. And meditate. Keep on meditating, catching those trains of thought. There's a story in every vibration. Everything has a vibration. Every human has a vibration. So yeah, thank you.